Reverend Al Sharpton taking some heat, big time. Minister in Hartford, Connecticut, calls Sharpton out at a rally for peace. Pastor Marcus Mosiah Jarvis joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well. I read that you accused Reverend Sharpton of being a pimp.
Yes, that would be the case.
So what happened?
Well, they were holding a Stop the Violence rally in Hartford, Connecticut, and I guess his invite was supposed to bring some attention to the plight in the city of Hartford. But once the rally and the march was ended, there was a gathering at Shiloh Baptist Church, and there was a offering or a demand for money. And I thought that was hypocritical and contradictory to the cause. How are you going to ask a crime-riddled neighborhood that's impoverished for $100 each donation and without cause? They didn't say what the money was going to be used for. And so I thought it was pimpism at its best.
Does he know you called him that? Has he responded?
Actually, nobody has. I have not heard anything from Reverend Al Sharpton or Pastor Porter. I do know that they're trying to be silenced by having me taken off the air. But really the most important issue is that we as pastors need to come together in the community to fix our own problems, and we don't necessarily need outside intervention or marches that really are not going to produce any type of solid results as to fighting crime and creating employment and jobs in a neighborhood that's rife with poverty.
You know, Pastor, I'm so happy to meet you. We had a pastor on last week from Chicago. There's so many great, African-American leaders and pastors in these communities who are really trying to help in their communities. For the life of me, I can't figure out why President Obama has continued to work with Reverend Al Sharpton as a representative of these communities when he has in some communities not been a wanted member. And he owes almost $5 million according to the New York Times to the IRS. He's a scofflaw, yet he's the one they turn to. Why?
I couldn't answer that question. It's a question that I have asked myself as well. I think we could do better as far as representation of the African American community as a whole. I can't say he's all bad. We all have, the Bible says, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. I can just say in this one incident, and it's something that's prevalent for some reason in the church that needs to be addressed, is that we do have some charlatans and some pimps in the pulpit that want to feed off the sheep. Ezekiel 34 says, "Woe unto the shepherds who feed off my sheep. Instead, they should feed the sheep." What we need in the urban neighborhoods is economic development plan coming from the church, coming from the pulpit. Credit preparation, credit repair, home ownership, business, entrepreneurship. These are the things that we need. We do not need marches or political grandstanding by outsiders and just to whatever it is, whatever their own agenda is. We don't need the media attention. We need solid systems put in place to address these issues.
Pastor, I'm very happy to meet you. Your community is very lucky, and I hope people are listening to you, because I think you got some great ideas. Thank you, sir.
No problem. I also would like to say that Pastor Dion Watkins at Mount Olive does have programs that he has put in place to do just the very things that I'm speaking of. And I did mention that I would mention him. He was part of the rally. And again, my end result to all of this would be that for all of us as pastors and clergymen, as the body of Christ, would sit down together as brothers and reconcile our differences and come up with sound systems to help our neighborhoods and our community. And thank you very much for having me, and thank you for your time. Sir.